heckled already?
Could be.
It says end broadcast.
This is the Culver's cam. We have the logo up.
I don't know. Is this one of those things where we don't actually know if we're live again?
No, we're live. I think we're live. You hit go live. We should be live. Should we check the YouTube here?
Yeah. This is so embarrassing.
Here's a fun little question. At what number of broadcasts do we get to the point where we don't need to check YouTube anymore?
I think we're always going to almost have to.
Is that a 10? Is it 20? Is it a 25?
I don't know.
Okay. Yep, we are live. We are live. It says live on YouTube. All right, that confirms that. That's Kyle. I'm Logan, and this is your home for Section 7 versus the world.
We're not even that late, and I kind of accidentally restarted the computer and did an update.
Yeah, right at 7:25.
Yeah.
You accidentally restarted.
My bad.
But we pulled it off. We threw it together. It's pretty impressive.
Got to fill up my sweet coffee mug.
It's like when you're getting ready for a wrestling match, you're the 152 pounder, and they just started 145, and you're like, oh, I got to run to the restroom very, very quickly. Throw it together. You come back, and it's only in the second period. Making it work.
Only you would do that.
Making it work. So, Kyle, why don't we start here? You got to tell people where you were last weekend. Where were you? Were you gone? Did you have something significant going on, or?
My bald 27-year-old brother. P.S. I beat him in b-ball. I'm assuming that...
Keaton, go to bed. Keaton, go to bed. It's too late for you to be up.
Oh, that's good. That's good. What was your question?
I said, you were gone last weekend. You want to key us in where you were, or were you just out floating the universe? Because there were some pretty wild theories about where you were. Some people thought you were chasing goats. Others thought you were breeding lambs. Some people thought you were reinventing the wheel.
No, I was actually petitioning the National Federation of High School Sports on the new scoring.
Yeah.
We need a 10-pointer.
We do need a 10-pointer.
So no, I don't actually remember what I was doing last week. Do you remember?
You had something family related. You guys have been all over the place.
That was this weekend.
Yeah.
So I was down in the Mighty GM this weekend.
Grand Meadow?
Yeah.
The Mighty GM.
The Mighty GM.
They're not the Larks.
Super Larks.
They're the Super Larks.
Super Larks.
Yep. Yeah. They're the Super Larks. We only had, I was waiting for an influx of comments of where is Kyle and we need Kyle back. And we had one person. We had one individual send us a message and said we need Kyle back.
Yeah. And also, our numbers showed that we need Kyle back. You took a beating last week. A beating. Wow.
Yeah, the board was not happy with me. I got called in on, what was that, Tuesday morning? I got called into the board meeting. They sat me down and they said, what have you done?
Hey.
You have completely tanked our numbers.
Sorry. Back to what have you been up to on the weekends? You been up to anything exciting?
Yes, I was. Thank you. I'm glad you brought this up. Perfect segue. So Saturday, I made it down to Pine Island.
Anything
for
beforehand?
The girls wrestling tournament. You are correct. I did have something before that, actually. I sat down with Aiden Grainer, and we did an interview for the Sunday morning ride. So that was pretty fun.
You had a busy Saturday.
I did have a busy set. Thank you for plugging all these things.
Yeah.
You are just the best producer.
Look at you.
You are just the best producer a guy could ask for.
So, I did listen to your interview with Grainer. That was good.
He was good.
He's fun. What's starting to come through on all your interviews is how much these kids and adults love the sport of wrestling.
I'm getting a call from Lakeville Public Schools. Do you think this is intended to be on the air?
Are you actually?
Yeah.
Huh. Answer it maybe before you plug that in.
Hello, this is Logan.
How do you get a school cancellation from Lakeville Public Schools?
Good news for the kids in Lakeville.
That is really random.
No school tomorrow, baby.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So I used to do play-by-play for Lakeville. This is the most random thing on earth. I was the voice of the Lakeville North boys lacrosse team. It's funny because they won state, and then they asked me to be their play-by-play guy, which is weird because I had never watched lacrosse before, but they're like, yeah, this guy, he should be calling for a good team. So then I'm on payroll. Well, I was on payroll as a Lakeville North employee. So now I'm getting phone calls from him, I guess.
Huh. I don't know if I've ever actually watched a lacrosse match. Game? Is it a game or a match?
It would have been a game, a lacrosse game, I believe. Yeah.
Well, you should know if you're the voice.
I should know. And before I got that call, we were talking about Aiden Grainer. But yes, Aiden did a really nice job with his interview. Very, very well-spoken young man. And Rick Rude didn't do too bad either.
Rick was good.
He?
No. When I was listening to Rick, I'm like, how many wrestling careers started because you didn't want to milk cows? I mean, I think the entire Lexfold family, aren't all the Carlsons from Wilmer, aren't they all dairy farmers too? Maybe some of them.
One would assume so. Usually when there's 13 kids in a family, usually they're dairy farmers.
Yeah, like nobody wants to milk. So there's like, I think the big guy from Waterville.
Kubal?
Yeah, there was a Dairy Star article about him or their family. He's a dairy farmer too. See, yeah, nobody wants to milk, so they all just...
We should make an all dairy farmer wrestling team. Can you imagine that?
Oh, I bet that'd be legit.
Bailey, let's establish the parameters, though. You have to have how many cows? How many cows do you need to have?
Just like one.
Really?
I mean, if you're hand milking one cow.
If you're hand milking a cow, okay. If you're hand milking, the number's one. If you have robots, you're disqualified. You can't have robots.
No, you can have robots.
Robotic milkers are okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a little more work than it sounds in robotic milking.
Back in my day when we milked cows, we had to do it going uphill both ways.
Anyways, you should put together an all dairy farming team.
I did not think this was the road we were going to go down today.
I didn't either. Oh, man. All right. Refocus.
Yes. So speaking of Rick Rude, we took a bunch of listener questions today, Kyle. That was kind of the theme of this episode is we wanted to know what you guys want to know. So you're welcome to throw those things in the comments. Kyle's going to be watching the comments. I can't watch the comments because I have a one-track mind. But if you do have questions, throw them in. One of the questions we got was specifically for you, Kyle, in regards to the Rick Rude guest appearance on the Sunday Morning Ride. This individual wanted to know if you're going to be petitioning Rick Rude for any rule changes. And it sounds like the answer to that is probably yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. 10-point takedown. I'd never heard of the person that texted you.
It was a Twitter account.
Twitter. Yeah. Who was that? I'd never heard of that person.
It was a Gorilla Wrestling Club.
Oh, so it's like a bunch of people?
It could have been. I'm not super familiar. Hold on. I want to know if Kyle's going to reach out to Rick Rude and request any rule changes. Oh, I know Gorilla Wrestling Club. I love Gorilla Wrestling Club. Big Gorilla Wrestling Club guy. They're sponsors of the Sunday Morning Ride. So.
Oh, so you're bought off by him?
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Speaking of bought off, we should talk about our sponsors.
We should talk about them. Well,
I think there's going to be
the Culver's Camp.
The Culver's Camp. There's got to be a good Heman Tree Service free quote of the week in this episode.
Yes,
we'll get one.
Somebody in the chat say something funny because
has Logan found a girl yet?
Who said that?
Well, it doesn't matter. That's just what somebody asked.
Hold on, let me see.
We could bring that to the listeners.
Jason, Flusher Fixer. Thank you. Oh, here we go. We got our Anoka friends in the chat here, Kyle.
That's right.
We better address this right away.
Yeah.
You go ahead. Tell the story while I model our new apparel here.
I should. I actually was talking to Jessica about this earlier. If I, we got a nice letter, too, with it. And then there's nothing on the back, is there?
Is there?
No.
Okay.
Good to show your back. No, so our nice folks at, oh, now I'm getting chirped here. Okay. So yeah, our nice folks at Anoka sent us some nice wrestling apparel. So that was sweet of them.
And we saved a marriage, kind of.
That's what I figured.
Technically, we did not save a marriage, but they said they appreciate that they're able to listen to us together. It's something they can bond on a little bit. So I guess we didn't save a marriage, but we're like improving a marriage, kind of. While we're on the other hand, we're destructing yours.
Yeah, because Jessica, you're doing another one. What are you talking to Logan about again? So yeah.
Oh, that's funny. No wonder she won't. Like
it's the extremes.
When I first started coming over here, she was excited to see me. She's, Logan, you want anything to eat? Can I get you something to drink? And now she shows up and she just like rolls her eyes at me. And no pleasantries.
No,
nothing.
No. So
yeah.
No. So that's awesome. We got some Anoka gear.
Okay.
Oh, can I talk about it? Okay, so then I'm looking like, how do we get to the Section 7 AAA finals, right? Because that's going to be fun. It's
Anoka, Forest Lake last year.
Elk
I think
River,
it was.
I think
Elk.
is flirting there.
Yep. We saw them right away at Minnetonka to start
Yeah.
the year. They got some kids.
So I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's the same place as Holding Ford. No,
Ford.
it's not. So here's my thing.
Here we go.
All sections, it should be a state mandate that all 3 classes need to be under the same roof, just like the Civic Center. But this is why Section 1 is like here, and then the rest aren't. Because like trying to track all of these matches down and to like watch them is going to be almost impossible.
I hear you.
Because I'm a fan more than Section 1. You're not.
Dude, what am I wearing? What do you mean I'm not? I don't get outside of Section 1.
You
Look
really
at this.
don't.
I'm a tornado.
Yeah. You didn't even know who their biggest rival was this year.
Yeah, it's Forest Lake or somebody.
Elk River. I don't know. It could be Forest Lake.
I don't know. Let us know in the chat. I think Matt probably knows. Who is Anoka's biggest rival this year? While we're in the chat, you need to address this comment here from Gorilla Wrestling Club. He says, Kyle wants takedowns to count for -1 for kids with 500 records or above to keep it close for lesser wrestlers. So if you're a good wrestler, you get deducted points for taking kids down. Do you think that's fair?
I don't even know who this. I can't. It's an anonymous account. I've never heard of this club, this person. I don't even know. We're just moving on.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's all I got.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, I got a call about the Lakeville school is closing before Jill got a call, and she has kids in the district. Well, they want to alert their most valued employees first. I think that's kind of what that is.
So, all right.
We got a lot of good questions, Kyle. When you told me today to put out ask for some listener questions, I didn't think we were going to get many good ones, but we got a bunch of them. But I think before we get to that, we got to get to trivia because...
Oh, we have been getting ripped on trivia.
Well, I mean, deservedly so. Most of the things we do here are perfect and flawless and always on time. Trivia is not one of those things.
No, we have been struggling. So we were going to do trivia earlier this week just because we don't want to screw it up. We got gift cards today.
Here's the exciting part is we have 2 parts to trivia. We have one for the podcast listeners. You guys are going to send us your answers in through email or send us a text link through the podcast description. But for those of you listening and loud and obnoxious in the chat, those of you that keep inquiring about my dating life, we are going to do live trivia right now. And the first person in the chat to get the answer.
No, let's not do first.
Oh, you want to draw from them or something? Or randomly select one of them?
Yeah, we'll give them, 10, 15 minutes to respond, and then we'll pick one.
Okay. Do you want to use your trivia for the live trivia, or do you want to use my question?
We'll use mine.
Okay.
All right.
I really like mine. I'm just going to say that. I have a really good trivia question.
True or false?
No, we're not doing a true or false question. They have to actually earn this.
Well, how would you word my trivia question not true or false?
Okay, just ask it.
Okay.
Good trivia is not true or false. They don't go on Jeopardy. They don't go on Jeopardy and go true or false. You don't go to a brewery on a Thursday night for trivia.
Do your terrible trivia.
Okay, so here's the theme related to mine. This weekend is going to be the first ever girls dual state tournament. Technically not sanctioned by the State High School League, but it is going to be sponsored or, supported or whatever by the Minnesota Wrestling Coaches Association. So the first ever Minnesota boys state wrestling tournament, Kyle. This is not for the listeners. I want you to guess what year that was.
The first ever boys?
First ever Minnesota team dual state tournament.
1952.
It's actually not horrible. It was 1937, okay? And I want people to guess. Your mom already guessed true to your trivia question. We want you to guess, out of all the current Section 1 teams, right now there are 32 teams in Section 1. Which one of those teams was the first to win a state title? I believe it was in the 1940s when this happened. So get your guesses into the chat.
And they're going to have to put that in the chat?
Yes, it's a team name. That's it. One word. That was kind of a hint when I said one word, but my
Well, we'll see.
My younger brother was trolling me. He deleted his comment though. So that is my trivia question, Kyle. If you want to, are you coming up?
And
with
we're
a
giving
different...
away a butter basket.
That's right. So do you have a question that we can use later for people to text in?
Well, now I'll have to think of one.
All right, you think of one.
Because apparently my true false isn't good enough.
No, not good enough.
All right. Yeah, it's for butter basket right here.
Okay. Butter basket. So
we'll nail it.
We better talk about some wrestling here. What do you want to start with here, Kyle? Because I got questions about girls wrestling in Pine Island. I got a couple about Class A. I got a double A question. And I got a question from myself for you. The question is, what are we watching on the television here?
Oh, in honor... I think I can turn this so we can watch it. In honor of your guest, was that last week?
Colton Langonier.
Colton Langonier. I did a little Google search, and I found the 2013 highlight video of the Comets. It's actually an interesting... it's kind of funny. They do JV kids, and then they go into their varsity, and then they go into the state tournament.
You will not get off this bandwagon, will you?
What?
The KM bandwagon?
No, I'm just trying to promote your show.
What are you wearing under that? Do you have blue on?
It's a Haneke Brothers farm shirt.
Oh, so it's not KM blue. Okay.
Of the Belchester area.
Okay. So yeah, that's a cool find.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought that was fun. A lot of blast from the past on that one. 20 years ago.
Yeah, Colton was awesome too, though. He was good. He knows his stuff. It's nice doing a wrestling show with people who know wrestling. You know, it's not something I get to do very often, so I'm just appreciative when I do get to do it.
Yeah, since I don't get to talk to the guests, I haven't done one in this whole year. So
you got to talk to Matt Mosseth last time we got together.
All right, let's go.
All right, Pine Island Girls Tournament. I was there on Saturday. What a showing, Kyle. Just tons of Section 1 studs. You heard that Hayden Hawkins knocked off the returning state champion in that one. Olivia Martinez won a title. Lauren Elsmore won a title. I think, Isabel Townley from Owatonna, she had a really, really solid tournament, ended up getting second, outperformed her seed by a bunch. I did not look at the team standings because I want to react to this live. There's a team that wears orange and is really close to I-90, and I have a feeling that they performed really well, but I didn't want to look at the team results until now to confirm that. So
St. Charles?
Yes, I think St. Charles. Okay, so they fell a little bit. They ended up getting 8th. St. Michael Albertville got first by a wide margin. Brainerd, I didn't realize Brainerd had that good of a showing. They got second with 230 points. Hastings, then Pine Island.
Isn't Brainerd one of the biggest girls programs in the state?
Bemidji, brother.
Oh, Bemidji?
Bemidji.
Well, they're all the same up there.
Different B word. Yep. Annandale Maple Lake. They had a pretty good showing. South St. Paul. We see them at the bi-state. They're very good. Then it was Roseville and St. Charles at the number 8 spot. And St. Charles did that without, having a top 5 ranked wrestler in state, without a big hammer. So they've got a very nice, deep quality of wrestlers. I liked what I saw from St. Charles.
And based on the responses we're getting from your trivia, we're also going to now throw that out to the masses. So we'll give away one for the live if anyone gets it.
We'll give away one for the live.
And then one for, because so far I don't think anyone's close.
Can you ban my brother from the chat? He guessed Belchester. he guessed Belchester High School.
Okay, back to the girls.
Yeah.
So you randomly will start blowing up my phones on a Saturday or a Sunday or Tuesday, Thursday night, depending on where you're watching wrestling, and you're really high on somebody. And usually it's Chatfield, let's be honest. 99% of your texts are how Chatfield should be ranked nationally number 2 or 1 or something like that.
Or higher.
Yeah. But this week...
They should be ranked as a college team.
Do you remember who you were really high on this week? This is the second or third time. I've never seen this person wrestle, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to.
Oh, Adriana Coons.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Unbelievable.
You had a book chain of how good she was. So tell me a little bit for those that didn't hear the last time we talked about her. She was our athlete of the week, first week of the season, maybe?
Beginning of the year. Yep.
Seventh grader.
Her and Hayden Hawkins were right away. And she's been doing dual duty, both wrestling girls tournaments individually, some boy tournaments individually, depending on the competition. and then just being a really great 107 for the dual team as well. And I've been asking around. I haven't got this from the horse's mouth, but it just sounds like a case pretty similar to Lauren Ellsmer, where elementary wrestling, watched her brothers wrestle, wanted to be a part of it, eventually got into it, and had a knack for it right away.
Just a hammer.
And, oh my gosh, is a hammer. She's going to be just a treat to watch for like the next 6 years. And then, I mentioned Hayden Hawkins in there. How weird is it, like, seeing Adriana Coons pop up like this as a 7th grader, and then Hayden Hawkins, a little bit more of a track record, but also as a senior, she's just stormed onto the scene, 20-1, knocking off state champions here in her senior year. So
Hawkins is a senior?
She's a senior, yeah. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. And I just got an important note here from Flusher Fixer. It says, so the scoring with the Pine Island Girls Tournament, they made every wrestler a scorer. So they had A, B, C, even some D brackets in every case. So this scoring maybe isn't indicative of, the traditional varsity scoring format at an individual tournament.
Now, did they have just one set of brackets, or was there like A's, B's, C's?
Are you joking?
No.
Did
I pull a Logan?
Yes, you did. And you know what is even funnier is like when I was saying that, you were nodding. And I'm like, in my head, I'm just like, he's getting it. Like, he understands.
Oh, sorry.
You were just nodding.
No, I was trying to pull something up on this other screen.
No, I get it. It's fine. So those were some of the individuals that stood out team-wise. I don't know. Team scoring is what it is. But, Kyle, we got a question related to the Pine Island Girls Tournament. And I think, there was some conversation going on at the tournament, and then Alex Van Den Houten, another cheap plug here for Alex, had another great article right up about the tournament, some of the best performances, and then big questions coming out of the tournament, which would be the section formatting that's coming up. So we got a question about that on Twitter. As it currently stands, they're still doing the 4 sections. So this year, section 1 is paired with section 2, 3, I believe, with 4, and so on and so on. And the question was just relating to, hey, are we going to 8 sections? Is this the point? Can we get this happening? And to that, I say, great question. That's a very good question. I saw some numbers. I didn't see anything that was official, but it sounds like between 1,500 and 1,600 girls participating. The one thing we can't deny is that every year there's more participating, right? Girls wrestling is the fastest growing sport right now. But maybe you can speak to this a little bit, Kyle, but there's going to be a point, I'm guessing, where the state high school league has to look at the numbers in the section tournament and just basically know that there's enough girls to the point where these section brackets are getting so full that they'll have to split it down to 8. Now, whether we're actually at that point now, I don't know. I don't have the data to confidently say, but I would think once they get to the point where you have a similar number of girls wrestlers in a section tournament as boys is the point where they'll kind of switch to an 8-team format or 8-section format.
Are you a baseball guy?
I love ball. It's my first love.
Have you ever watched The Field of Dreams?
No.
Are you serious?
No, I haven't. I don't watch movies.
Are you messing with me?
Name a different movie. I guarantee you I haven't watched it.
Major League.
Nope.
You've never watched Field of Dreams?
No. Actually, I have watched Major League, though. I've not watched Field of Dreams.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
You're like a baseball guy.
Who's in it? God. Sandra Bullock?
All right. Well, for those of you that have seen Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. So here's my solution to this. Go 8, go 16 events, run an independent schedule, state tournament, dual tournament, get it all done as quickly as you can, and then just roll.
That's your solution?
Yeah.
And here's what I'll say to that. I think that they're going to get there, but quickly as possible. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to happen overnight. You know, like, you've seen the administrative side of things. You know these things take time. It's just, as much as I think a lot of people would love for it to happen overnight, it's like, it's a process. You know what I mean? If they decided
within 2 years, this can be figured out.
You think
Next year's a transition year where you work out some of the logistics. By year 2, it's all in place. So what are we at? 2025, 2027. You got to figure it out.
Maybe. I'm curious to see.
Extend the state tournament by a day. If you want to run it all at the XL Energy Center.
You might be onto something.
And think about this from the state high school league perspective. Like, it's going to be way cheaper to run a boys and girls tournament concurrently than it would be to run two separate events at the X. Because if you're going to run two events, it has to be at the X. I mean, boys and girls basketball, they do 2 weekends at Williams in the Target Center. Soccer is held at US Bank Stadium, football, US Bank Stadium, volleyball, the X. So instead of trying to like, oh, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? Make it longer. It's fine. Then they get it all under one, run it all completely independent, but then they merge at the state tournaments. So you get the atmosphere for both and let her ride.
I'm with you on the destination. I
don't want to hear about budgets. I don't want to hear about travel. I don't want to hear any of that crap because it doesn't matter in any other situation until we start talking state tournaments. Period.
I'm with you on the destination, but I'm going to be a little bit more realistic on the path to get to that destination. I think that's where we're going, but I don't know if it's going to happen that quickly. It just seems like...
Why can't it?
This...
Why not?
Do you want me to give you some cliches on...
No, I want the truth. Your mom called you and said, BS, you've watched The Field of Dreams, by the way.
Hi, Mom. You know what? If that was possible, I'd be all for it. But I don't think it's possible. I don't know if it is. You think it is?
Absolutely. You know how...
Have you been on the inside of the state high school league?
I'm just
Have
saying,
you been inside the walls?
If you give people a task that are passionate about something, they're going to get it done.
If you give them a deadline, they're going to get it done.
2 years to accomplish something like this? Oh, I'm sure they got excuses, but it can get done.
You think so?
Absolutely. So that's my stance.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I came into this feeling a little bit uninspired, but you have made me feel like anything is possible. I'm going to lose the holiday weight.
If you build it, it'll come. They will come.
Well, I guess.
And then you have something that you can promote. Like, I'm not saying you can't promote girls wrestling.
So you're saying it's a draw?
Absolutely, it's a draw.
Okay.
It's a legit look. It's showcased. It's the exact same. Let her fly.
Okay.
So
you know what would be really interesting, and I don't know what this is. Maybe Flusher Fixer does, but like, what other states have established as the standard? Like,
who cares?
What state is leading the way?
Why can't Minnesota?
That's what I was gonna say.
Let her fly.
You were fired. You need to step out for a smoke.
No,
I
think we need to get a board going.
All right.
Let's make this happen.
All right, let's do it.
Anywho,
so anyways, go read Alex's article in the Post Bulletin. It was a very good article, and ton of fun on Saturday. Ton of fun. Next question, Kyle.
And I mean, this is just self-serving because Hazel's 2.5. If she does decide to wrestle, hopefully, by then, in 15 years, they'll have it figured out.
I hear you do have a sister-in-law though who's trying to sabotage that. She's trying to get Hazel to be a dancer.
Yeah, that'll be funny.
That's kind of sick.
So, all right,
she's got that I don't know. This is a stereotype, but like dancers drama, right? Hazel's kind of She's a little drama. She
was good tonight. We didn't have too many meltdowns. So
she could crawl out of bed at any moment. Don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Hey, have we got any correct answers yet?
Let me check the chat here. Here's what we've had guessed. Chatfield, nope.
Albert
Lee, nope. Belchester, nope.
Is it Rochester?
No.
Ooh, I thought it maybe was just Rochester. All right. Well, continue.
Oh, my other brother's here. This is not good. Are admins not doing their job? Just tuned in. Why is Kyle looking so much smarter, resourceful, and better looking? I'm going to ban him quick. I think I can do this. No, I'm just going to report him.
Marshall.
I'm reporting him for hate speech.
No, don't actually do that. It blocks him. I accidentally did that. It blocks somebody. Really? Yeah.
All right. Ethan, this is your warning. And misinformation. I also classify that as misinformation.
We got Marshall, Owatonna, and Goodhue. Any of those correct?
No, but they're one of those they're getting on the right track.
Faribault.
You're getting on the right track, sort of.
All right. Okay, well, we'll keep going, and then maybe someone will get it right.
I found this through... No, I'm not going to say where I found it. It'll make people's life too easy. Okay, let's go to a Class A question here. Submitted from a listener, Gary from Indiana. KW locked up the number 2 seed.
Are you like actually Gary from Indiana?
Yes, Gary from Indiana.
All right.
Our next question.
I don't know why I don't believe half the stuff you're saying.
You know what's
I
kinda
literally
funny
just
is
fact checked you to see if Hayden Hawkins was a senior. She is.
Our next question is from Raleigh from North Carolina. And our third question is
I get it, Gary. Got you.
Savannah from South Carolina.
You better be
after
careful.
that-
I will expose your dating life.
After that, it's Tallahassee from Florida sent us a question on AAA wrestling. Has KW locked up the number 2 seed?
Flusher Fixer, the answer was Saturday. Continue.
I'm not going to say yes. I'm not ready to say yes. And you know I'm somebody that likes to hop ahead, right? You talking about...
Continue.
I'm one that loves to jump ahead, but I'm not quite ready to give them the number 2 seed. I would say I'm like 98% of the way there because they only had 3 section matches. They won all their section matches this year. They made it to the section finals last year. And as long as they keep taking care of business outside of the section, I think they're the number 2 seed. Issue, though, is you don't have head-to-heads with LARP, right? You don't have head-to-heads with Goodhue. You don't have head-to-heads with Dover. They do, and they actually beat Dover. So that's kind of the standard there.
They also beat Pine Island, and Goodhue lost Pine Island, and LARP has a match with Pine Island coming up. So
there's common opponents there. Yeah. Pine Island's going to... Oh, my gosh. Pine Island is going to play such a big role here down the stretch, not just obviously in AA, but how seedings and stuff shake out a little bit in 1A there as a common opponent.
St. Peter or Medford?
No. We're too far north.
Are you even... Okay, give these people a hint.
I just did. Do you never listen to me?
Too far north. Okay.
Okay. So, follow-up question to that. This question is from Des Moines from Iowa. Thank you, Des Moines, for this question. Can we put St. Charles into that next tier of teams in 1A? The LARPs, the Goodhue, and Dover Yodas of the world. Great question, Des Moines.
This is a good time to reference your spreadsheet, I'm assuming,
jbtix.com. Use the spreadsheet tab. Yeah. This is just how beautifully is
and just
this
ignore
laid out?
that Logan hasn't updated his blog since 3/4/24. Okay.
Exactly. Thank you for pointing out that they should ignore that. So, oh man, I so want to put St. Charles in with that LARP, Goodhue, Dover Yoda group. Here's the issue, though.
And the reason this is even being talked about is because St. Charles has wins over
Triton,
GMLOS.
GMLOS. Yep.
Oh, you're just gonna cut me off. That's fine. Go ahead.
Were you
It's your
talking?
day. No,
you don't listen to me.
You do you.
You don't listen to me. Start listening to me, and I might listen to you. So they still have a duel remaining against Dover Yoda. That's on Thursday. I just saw St. Charles last Tuesday. I love how their young scrappers are looking. They've got like 10 7th graders, 10 8th graders, 10 9th graders, and they had some injuries last Tuesday, and they plugged in some youngsters, filled those roles in big ways, but they're just a little banged up at the moment. And then they've been thin up top, heavyweight, 215, 189, trying to kind of grow into those weight classes. So I had a ton of fun watching St. Charles on Tuesday. They got these kids that just like put points on the boards. Like if you love football scores, then I have a wrestling team for you. But it's going to be very challenging for St. Charles to climb into that tier with a Dover Yoda that's a well-established program that has a really a balanced, deep lineup. So I want to. St. Charles, get out there and let's make it happen, I guess would be the answer. And there's going to be, as I'm looking at this Section 1A spreadsheet, Kyle, holy crap, there are going to be some big Section 1 matches this year.
Just this week alone.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got St. Charles and DE.
St. Charles and Dover. Yep.
Goodhue LARP.
Goodhue LARP. And then this is next week, I guess. But Triton will wrestle GMLOS, which is like a 7-8 seed type matchup. And then LARP Dover will wrestle a week from Thursday or Friday. So big stuff still going to shake out there. Would you push back on any of those points I made, the questions from Gary and Des Moines, or would you say You're not too opposed to either of those answers. Okay.
I really like Spam and eggs for breakfast. That's my go-to. That's just my hint for your terrible trivia question.
It's good, isn't it? That's a good trivia.
I mean, it's interesting if you kind of look at some of these.
Oh, good thing we're wearing our Anoka gear. They were one of the
They were
first.
hot back in the day.
They still are, baby. What do you mean were?
Wow, okay.
Come on.
1948
19.
was Anoka's first state championship.
All right.
So
next.
single A, that's about it then. That wraps that up.
Those were the questions we had. Thank you to Gary and thank you to Des Moines. This next question is from Tallahassee in Florida. What is the most important Section 1 AA duel remaining? Kyle,
Hypothetically, if you were to like go out for coffee, would you use these terrible cliches and bits if we were just having coffee?
let's just let that question breathe for a second. And you talk about some of these important matches coming up. I'm going to get into something a little bit more comfortable.
What are you doing? You're doing a wardrobe change halfway through.
Yes.
All right. What was I supposed to talk about?
Upcoming matches in AA that are important.
Oh, goodness. You should have like told me this kind of before we started. Oh, you just went, I wish I could turn the camera around. We'll just let the people wait here. Oh no, keep the hat off.
All right.
He's back.
We're ready.
Wow, I was not expecting that.
Here we go.
I got an eyeful.
We are ready to talk AA wrestling. Kyle just saw like 60% of me.
Oh, goodness.
Here we go. Got my brand new Pine Island Panther wrestling gear. This is our year. This is what happens. You go down to Pine Island for a girls wrestling tournament. You show face and good things happen. I'm on the bandwagon. Flusher Fixer. Thank you. Thank you for showing up.
All right, we got a winner here. And no, we are not. So, you know who got it first, right?
Your mother.
Yep.
Yeah.
Second.
My mother.
Yeah. So we're going to go to the number 3 finisher here.
Joshua.
Yep.
Very well done.
So if you can send us, somehow we got to get his address.
Yeah, we do. Josh, is that a LARP name? Might
Could be.
LARP
Yeah.
name.
Yep.
If I'm putting 2 and 2 together here.
Yep. So if you can email, what's our email?
jvtakes1@gmail.com.
Yep. Send us your address. You'll get this nice little butter burger.
We're going to get you over to Culver's.
So,
Do you like this shirt? You like the maroon and gold here?
yeah, go for colors.
Yeah, it is go for colors.
So-
Issue is it doesn't go with the rest of the outfit, but for AA talk, we got to get this on.
All right. Medford, I agree. Medford is not close to Austin. Logan's directionally challenged. So, all right.
What? Who said Medford?
I don't know. That was back earlier.
We
and you're
were
like, oh,
no,
you're
we were
getting
talking
closer.
about Faribault and Owatonna. Someone said Owatonna, and I said right direction. Faribault, and I was like,
All right. Okay, double A.
All right, AA. What is
You're
the
hard to keep focused today.
What? Yeah, it's a big day. A lot of wrestling, exciting stuff happening. What is the most important duel remaining in Section 1 AA? Casson Manorville has big matches against Plainview Elgin Millville and Pine Island. And Pine Island has big matches against, of course, Plainview Elgin Millville and Zimbrota Mazeppa. Kyle, I'm going to put you on the spot with this one. Out of those 4 matches, which one do you think is the most significant, or which one are you most fired up to see? And these are all...
Let's talk through this a little bit. Can we talk through it?
Sure.
So right now, ZM's probably the 1 seed
ZM is probably the 1 seed,
over with the win over KM.
unless something unexpected transpires, because they do have that match against Pine Island.
No, I'm just saying as of today, like let's
done,
pencil this out.
If we were doing seeding for tomorrow.
ZM has a win over KM. ZM has a win over PEM. So, okay. So ZM's 1. You know which one's interesting? I'm going to go with KM PEM.
Yeah.
Cuz Pine Island PEM also, but is there a scenario where KM drops to the 4 seed?
Yes.
3 seed? 4
Yes.
seed?
Yes.
I suppose 2-3 really doesn't matter.
There is a scenario, but how likely is that scenario? Would be
I don't
the
know.
question.
You're wearing the Pine Island shirt. You live in, or your show is based out of Pem. You tell me.
Here's what I'll say about KM and Pem, or excuse me, KM and Pine Island right now that I like for both of them is that they're getting reinforcements. So Pine Island, they got Jag Foster out and back on the team. They're doing a little bit of shifting with weights. We've seen the lineup is getting stronger. KM just had Owen Nelson back on Saturday when they won the Osage duels. He won a bunch of matches. KM went 5-0. And I was saying this to you off camera, but getting Owen Nelson is back is like the biggest possible addition KM could have right now. That is a state entrant monster at 189 and 215 that they're plugging it. So that's what I like right now about KM and Pine Island. And Pem, unfortunately, they've been a little bit plagued with injuries here the last couple weeks. And that doesn't mean it's permanent. But you want to be peaking at the right time. And I think KM and PI are setting themselves up to do that. So that triangular between those three, Kyle, it's the 30th of January, which is next Thursday. Pem, Pine Island, and KM all getting together. How much fun would that be if they all go 1-1? Everybody comes out of that 1-1. You've got ZM as the obvious 1 seed, and then those three, argue as you will.
That would actually be kind of fun. Well, and not just fun for the seeding, but fun for the state section tournament.
Yes.
So
100%. Well, and then you look at these next tier of teams, the Cannon Fallses, the Byrons, the Stewartville, Lake Cities, Caledonias. I mean, that's going to be really fun to see how that shakes out too, because there's a ton of remaining matches between those teams. Just with all the 4 of those 5 teams are HVL teams. And then also Caledonia is going to be going to the Swallows on Saturday. Still run into Byron and KM. There's just a lot of shaking going on right now in Section 1 AA.
Yeah. For the first, when's the last time AA's been potentially this deep? Or
that
maybe
man. When is the last time
this much potential parity?
Yes. And like what you might have said this before, but when is the last time that the semis had this much anticipation in 1 AA? And the answer is when ZM and Albert Lee wrestled, but that was special when Albert Lee was down for a couple years. But AA is going to be sweet. Like even the 3-6 matchup could be fun, whoever that ends up being. And now, I mentioned KM and PI as teams that are kind of retooling and getting ready for the stretch. Caledonia is a little bit of that as well. They've got their full lineup ready. They finally, got beyond that slow start to the season, and they've got big matches coming up with Pem on Thursday, and then, like we said, Swallows on Saturday. So AA is going to be a good time. Our AAA question, Kyle, submitted by Reno from Nevada. Thank you for this question. Is Albert Lee at 100%? Are they ready to go? It's a great question. They sure looked like it on Saturday. What was that score with Albert Lee and LARP? Is it 66-4 or something like that?
Well, it was a lot different than the first time they wrestled. Gosh, you should prep me for this when you're going to put me on the spot to ask me specifics. It was just not,
It wasn't close. LARP won 1 match, baby. And then they shut out Dover Iota, right?
Yeah.
On Saturday. So Albert Lee has racked up some losses over the course of the year, but you pointed this out to me. The bottom of their lineup just looks rock solid now. As they got Maggie Olson rolling out at 7. They've got the Gross brothers at down to 14 and 21. And then you roll into your Logan Davises, and they look really, really tough. And you know who they wrestle on Friday?
Northfield.
They wrestle. No, you got it. You get congratulations.
I get it.
Culver City.
Yes. With this last weekend is the first weekend. I'm like, oh, that's the Albert Lee of last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh my
It's
gosh.
Like, wow.
You still see a spot in their lineup where they could use a Michael Olson, but I think
every team could use a Michael Olson.
Every team could use a Michael Olson.
Yeah, no, but you start. I mean, it looks like if you guys got to wait, added a couple back, and it's just amazing what that does to a lineup.
So now looking at that, you just saw Northfield. We saw them in person. Northfield looks great. They're wrestling well. They have been consistent. They have been rock solid all season.
It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah. Can Northfield hang with them?
Oh, absolutely. I think so. Yeah. Yeah, we're looking at a box score trying to explain it to people, but Northfield's just so solid through the middle.
They are. My gosh. They're good. Yeah. They're really good at 45, 52, 60. Yeah.
Like anything, bonus points, try to minimize them, try to get them.
Yeah.
See how it goes. But that's Friday night. I'm assuming you're going, right?
No.
Weird. Another Albert Lee one you're skipping.
I'm getting coffee.
Again?
Radio for
Is
two.
that the second time
radio
in a
for
week?
2 people. So I made this lifelong commitment to Josh Grant, the head coach in Goodhue. I said, as long as you're the head coach, I will come back and do the live stream. I don't know if that's actually a favor or if that's like a punishment to the listeners in Goodhue, but I am going to be in Goodhue on Friday night, unfortunately.
So,
unless
Albert
you
Lee,
want to hop on
there
the
you go.
mic for me. You want to hop on
Sure.
the mic?
Where's it at? Is it in Northfield or in Albert Lee?
It is in Northfield. It's part of a quad. With,
Okay.
I think Mankato West and somebody else. You know who we didn't talk about in Section 1 AAA? I didn't get a question about this team, but I saw them in St. Charles on Tuesday. How about Rochester Century? I think I'm going to give you credit. You probably don't deserve this, but you would put them on my radar. Like, they are coming. And now I think they have a legit shot. This is just crazy to say. They might have a legit shot to get a top 4 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, Rochester Mayo's a little bit banged up. They've been missing some guys from the heart of their lineup, and Century is at full strength, and they were wrestling really hard last Tuesday when they beat St. Charles and Lake City.
And they wrestle a try, so that's not next week. Yeah, next week. Wow, January's going fast.
Yeah.
Against Mayo and John Marshall. So that'll be probably a matchup for the 4-5.
Yeah.
And then they'll probably turn around again in 2 weeks and do it again.
Yeah.
So who has to avoid that long bus trip?
That is a great question.
Do Rochester schools just meet like this is really random, but like they don't take a bus, do they? They don't meet at Mayo and then drive to Century. Don't they all just meet at Century or JM?
That's a good question.
Maybe if we have any Rochester insiders, they can fill us in.
Oh, what would you do if you were the coach in that situation? Would you take the bus or would you tell the kids to meet you there?
I can't imagine they provide busing. That seems silly.
I would take the bus. I'm a big bus guy. Camaraderie.
No, I would prefer, yeah, you go as a team, but I just can't imagine like that's got to be a budget issue or it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you're probably right. Oh, that reminds me. When I did some play-by-play stuff at like up at Shakopee, like for the softball field, they would just have kids show up like from Lakeville North, I think, or Prior Lake. Prior Lake kids would just drive over
I've
to
seen
Shakopee.
that. Yep.
Yeah.
So, and then Owatonna, they're kind of just flying under the radar, or what do you got on Owatonna? Yeah, I shut it off. For some reason, it started showing us.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't want that.
No, nobody wants that.
We don't need like two versions of us.
Those of you that do are nuts.
But what do you got with Owatonna here?
Oh man, that's a good question.
They wrestle Albert Lee that same night that Mayo wrestles Century on the 30th. So that'll be a big duel.
What I like about Owatonna, yes, and they do have some big stuff coming. They just destroyed Rochester Mayo. That was a very impressive win for Owatonna. But what I like about their lineup is they've kind of got some of that shifting ability, right? They've got a few hammers here. They've got like Lindquist at 107, Karsten at 33. They're double weight up top a little bit. So they've got some mobility. And a lot of the times you'll see this where the first time they wrestle a section opponent that's going to be a big match, you feel some stuff out, right? You try to get some different matchups. So we 110% cannot forget about Owatonna in all of this. And then you were just talking about it right there. Mayo versus Century in the Battle of the City Schools to decide probably the 4 and 5 seed. And did you mention this? Owatonna and Albert Lee haven't wrestled? You did mention that. Okay.
That's literally how I led into this Owatonna
So
discussion.
we're even.
We're even.
Okay, we're even.
So
okay.
But if you haven't checked out Logan's spreadsheet, you want to see where teams are matching up, things like that. It's okay.
I'm bold enough to put in projected seeds too. If you scroll down to the bottom, you can look at projected seeds. You can see all the big remaining matchups.
I like how you just assume Owatonna is going to be a 3-4. If they beat Albert Lee, Northfield beats Albert Lee could drop to the 3.
You are 110% correct. Yeah. Well, you'll notice that number 4, you scroll over there, read number 4 out loud, please.
Just you were bragging about your power rankings today, and now you got all these disclaimers.
Thank you for bringing up my power rankings, and thank you to our sponsor, Ag Partners. I'm going to give Ag Partners this check-in on my power rankings. Okay, I think that's fair enough. Ag Partners, powerful company. My power rankings, they are powerful rankings. They're undefeated, Kyle. You like to give me some flack about my power rankings, but they have been undefeated for like 2 weeks straight. ZM is the second-ranked team. They beat Owatonna and KW like my power rankings said they should. Owatonna beat KW like my power rankings said they should. Pem over Mayo. Albert Lee over LARP. Owatonna over Mayo. This is now your opportunity to tell me how great I am at power rankings.
No, I just like that you really doubled down because we got all these head-to-heads coming this week, so you must feel pretty confident.
Well, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. If you want to know the result of a matchup, so let me see. Albert Lee Russell's Northfield. Albert Lee is number 4. Northfield is number 5. That means Albert Lee is going to win by a tight margin.
Wow. Bulletin board material here.
They're going to print my face and put it outside.
Northfield over Owatonna. You got KW 7, Pem 8. I wish we saw more Pem HVL crossover matches. I don't think they wrestle too many in the HVL, do they?
You know what's sucks about that even more is like they're not. I mean, we see them wrestle Lake City. That's a close one.
Mm-hmm.
Goodhue is a little intermediate distance. I would love to see them against Goodhue. I'd love to see them. We do see them against ZM. Who else do we want, I guess?
KM.
Oh, KM.
That'd be fun.
They do wrestle KM with Pine Island next week.
Well, let me check the spreadsheet. Is it on there? This is kind of like my bad take with ZM, KM, Pine Island, Byron. I think they wrestle almost every HVL team.
Yeah, you're wrong on that one.
That was like my bad take with the Gophers just having a bunch of transfers.
Yeah.
And what was it, like 2? So, all right. Second time I'm wrong on a podcast.
Hey, it happens.
It's just a lot of these are coming up here. So,
okay, let's do
again,
a quick
not true,
check in on the chat here. My younger brother Ethan says he's in Vegas. Witchy, in his opinion, the biggest remaining AA match is Pine Island versus Pem.
Did we ask for Witchy's opinion? Sorry, Witchy. That was too easy.
I don't know why. That was hilarious. Hey, Kyle, your mic wasn't muted. I don't know if you thought it was.
Oh, my bad.
It wasn't muted.
So, does Witchy live in Mazeppa?
I don't know. Witchy, let us know where you live.
Yeah.
Address, please. House number and everything and street.
We got anything else left here?
Yes, we do. We got to round out with our athlete of the week. Thank you, Culvers. I love you, Culvers. Thank you for sponsoring our athlete of the week. Oh, we should have done this with Trivia Ruth right away. We have to do some housekeeping there. We didn't name our last 2 winners. So
that is funny.
Yeah.
We suck at this.
Yeah, we're not very good at it. We have 2 spots and 3 winners. Okay, so we got to choose between Cody O'Reilly, who was insulting me through our text line earlier, but it's okay. I get it. Amanda, my aunt Amanda, who's a loyal listener, listens every single week, and Ricky Ties, who is a Rochester Red.
I think it's Tees, isn't it? Ricky Tees.
I said Tees last time, so I was saying Ties this time to cover my bases.
Gotcha.
I figured if I said them both, one of them would be right. So we have to pick 2 winners from those 3 people.
I mean,
let's do a poll in the chat. Let the chat decide.
I'll set it up.
Okay, you get that set up. Athlete of the week. Do you give me permission to do the athlete of the week?
Yeah, you go ahead. I got to do this poll.
So I wanted to give it. These 3 would be the contenders. Adriana Coons, of course, we talked about. Hayden Hawkins. I didn't want to give it to either of them because we already recognized both of them, so it made my decision very easily. We're going to go with Olivia Martinez from Rochester, Mayo. Just an 8th grader, and she won the Pine Island Girls Tournament in her A bracket on Saturday. 3 pins, and was on the mat for a total of 2 minutes and 5 seconds. I think she had a pin in 23 seconds, a pin in 35 seconds, and then a pin in like a minute and a handful of seconds or something. So 3 pins, 2 minutes wrestling as an 8th grader.
That's impressive.
Think about this crop of young girls wrestlers we're going to get to watch growing up. You know, you get 7th graders like Adriana Coons, 8th graders like Olivia Martinez. Owatana's got some youngsters there, 7th, 8th graders. This is going to be historic.
Cody's getting taken to the cleaner right now. 0%.
Oh, I'm glad they're voting for my Aunt Amanda.
Oh, he got one. Oh, storming back.
Do I get to vote?
You're a play-by-play guy. You should like commentate this.
And coming around the first corner into the...
So, all right.
Do I get to vote is my question.
I want to do my trivia question too.
All right, I'm voting for you, Amanda.
No, you can't vote for.
Yes,
all right, I'm going to do one. We have a lot of gift cards. That's why we got to give out some of these. So,
Okay.
true or false? You know, in the wrestling ring, circle. Wrestling ring, circle.
Circle. Did you know that as part of the rule change, not a lot of people know this, as part of the rule changes last year, they got rid of the 10-foot circle?
Yeah, I did know that.
Okay, go ahead. Floor is yours.
So, the outer circle, right? The outer line. If you are standing on the line, are you inbounds or out of bounds? Oh, that's actually not a true false. Are you inbounds or out of bounds? So, first person to answer that. If you're standing on the line, you drag your toe, it's on the line. Are you in or out? Think anyone's actually going to answer this? We're going to end this poll. Looks like it's kind of a runaway with this other one.
So, Cody, sorry, Cody.
Cody, you're out. You lose.
Congratulations. Amanda and Ricky, our last 2 trivia winners.
Yep. Oh. How do we deal with our mothers just keep answering these questions?
Ban them.
Ban them? Report them?
So, what are you going to... Were you finishing a point there?
No, that's
I
a
feel
question.
Like you were going somewhere. You want them to send that in. You
Oh, we got, okay, a non-family
inbounds.
inbounds.
Correct.
Non-family.
Very, very well done, Courtney.
Yep. So we'll get one to the minors too.
Well, yes, we will.
We need to get,
we should probably get them too. Aiden got a trivia question a few weeks ago.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll send him on a little...
We should write some names on this or we're going to forget. Send us your addresses.
Trip. Did you, because Culver's is our favorite people on earth, did you tell everybody about your Culver's idea? Are you ready to put that on air? Or do you want to hold that one kind of tight still?
Let's revisit some of Kyle's ideas next week.
That's a very good one.
I got a lot of ideas.
Yeah, you do. Some of them scare me a little bit. And I'm going to get into our Lodemeier's hard-earned performance of the week, Kyle. While we're doing that, can you scroll the chat for the free quote of the week? Or, actually, I don't know. I kind of want to give free quote of the week to who asked for Witchy's opinion.
That's up to you.
Let's let that marinate for a second here. Our hard-earned performance of the week. Thank you, Lodemeier's. You know why it's the hard-earned performance and it's got Lodemeier's name is because Lodemeier's shows up on days like today when it's negative 15 degrees. They bust their butts. They grind. They show up when you need it. Kyle's a farmer. He gets it. The people at Lodemeier's gets it. And our hard-earned performance of the week, the Zumbrota Mazeppa Youth Wrestling Team. Kyle, they went up to Maturi Pavilion for the King of the North versus King of the South duel, and they were the kings. They won it all. They took down STMA 36-33 under the bright lights of Maturi Pavilion. Did you hear about this?
No.
You didn't hear about this?
I don't care.
Oh my gosh. You're missing out.
But
it was a heck of a
I was
duel.
about to ban you from ever doing this again if you're going to start doing youth stuff. But when you said they took it to St. STMA, I'm all in now. So that's fine.
Okay, so you get it.
Yep.
There is our hard-earned performance of the
Nice
week.
job. Little Cougars.
Little Cougars. Our Heman Tree Service free quote of the week. Should we go with Witchy? Should we give it to him?
Yeah, might as well.
Well, I guess you get it, but we kind of give it to Witchy by association there.
All right, and then should we just like ask the question for people to marinate a little bit with before the next show? If we
Don't say anything stupid.
If we did a live show, would we get any attendees? Which would actually be more fun if we got 0 attendees.
That would be pretty good.
Yeah, and we're gonna maybe do some commentating on as we watch some matches. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Can we do a poll quick, or is this a bad idea?
No more polls.
Okay.
So we'll start it next time.
Think about that. Would you come and throw rotten fruit at us? Would you throw week old tomatoes at us? All right.
Is that it?
Yeah, I don't got anything else.
Okay.
You got anything?
No, I was just sitting back for you to go on a.
Do we have a sign-off line? There's a guy that I work with, and he always says, never forget, always remember, wherever you go, there you are.
Is that how you're ending it?
End it.
Oh, I have to end it. I got this. Get. All right, till next week.